Well, hey there, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Patty, and you can just call me the crazy plant lady, because that's apparently what I am. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I set up these three absolutely beautiful houseplants. I purchased all of them this past weekend, and they're all in their new little homes. And in this video, I'll show you how they went from nursery pots to designer showcase plants. Okay, don't go anywhere. Hi YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Patty, and this is my handmade lifestyle. In today's video, I'm going to sit with you and repot 3 plants. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel while you're here today. I work really hard to bring you fun and interesting and educational videos, so your subscription means a lot. Hit the notification bell so that you're always informed when new things go up, which is a lot, a couple times a week. I'm trying to get to 3 times a week, but right now it's twice a week. But you know, if I do more, you don't want to miss them. Let's get into the video. First up, let's take a look at the plants we're going to pot up today. And this one is my brand new split leaf Philodendron. I got this at Plant Bar, and I'll link over to the video that shows where I went and bought this beautiful sample. I'll link it above and below. It's a pretty fun little vlog style video, and it shows you a lot of my hometown of Virginia Beach, and there's all kinds of plant videos in there, so if you're a plant lover, I think you'll enjoy that video. So obviously, if we're going to pot up plants, we need plants. So that's my first one, is the split leaf of Philodendron. And then over here we have this beautiful Anthurium, and oh my goodness, I am in love with this thing. So we're going to pot that one. I also got that one at a Plant Bar. Down at the very bottom of the screen is it's called a sensitive plant, and it will curl up its leaves as you touch it. And I will tell you, I think it has doubled in size since I brought it home. So it definitely likes living back here in my back garden. And let's just come over here and see what other supplies we're going to need. Obviously, we're going to need pots. So I've got 3 beautiful pots. I love them all. I've got some rocks over there for top dress. I've got a bucket with my soil. It's a lot easier to manage your soil if you get it out of the bag and into a little bucket like that. And I'm just using straight up Miracle-Gro potting soil. Nothing special. That's what I use, and it's always been fine for me. So that's what we're using here. And the surprise thing that we're using is that little pink rag. That is a microfiber cloth. These things, oh my goodness, they are life-changing, and I use them on everything now, and I use them on the plants. And coming up, I'll show you how you can use these to fix your plants up too. Okay, so let's start potting up. And I would say let's start with the sensitive plant first, because, you know, we'll just go smallest to largest. How about that? When I'm working with my plants, I like to have all of my things I'm going to use set out and ready to go. In cooking, there's a French term that's called mise en place. Mise en place, I'm probably butchering that. Basically, it means everything in its place. So just like in cooking, before you start making something, you want to get out all of your ingredients. You want to go ahead and have everything measured, everything ready to go, so that when you start actually fixing whatever it is you're going to make, you're just combining ingredients that are ready to go. You're not sitting there in the middle of creaming butter and sugar and measuring flour. That's not the way to do it. So with plants, I like to have everything ready. So I have my plant, I have my pot that I want to use, I have my soil, and a little something to drink. Okay, and because this is a small plant, rather than using one of these giant scoopers or spades or whatever, so technical, I like to use a big serving spoon because it's a little more control. It's a little bit more control, and you know, this is just a small pot, so I don't need this giant spade thing. I'm like not super technical about things. So I'm just gonna put some soil in. And all I'm doing is lightly scooping it. I'm gonna fluff it up. And this is like baking also. If you're going to do the cup measurement method in flour, you want to fluff up your flour before you actually use it. You do the same thing with your soil. It's kind of interesting how similar baking and gardening are. So all I'm doing is placing my soil, and I'm kind of making a little, it's like a well, I guess you would call it, in the lower part of this. Okay, and then I'm going to take out my little card, and then when you remove your plant, you just kind of squeeze it on both sides, and that helps release it from the pot, and then you gently tip it, and there it comes. And then you can look at your roots, and these roots are super healthy and look really nice, and I'm just going to pinch them just to break them up to make sure that they're not going to be growing in a circle, because we want them to grow down. Okay, and then I'm just going to do enough soil to fill in the sides and give the plant structure. This little plant, every time you touch it, it curls up. So it was looking so full and pretty, and now it looks a little pitiful, but once we leave it alone, it'll come back up. I've never had one of these, so I'm kind of excited about it. It sure looked better before I put it in this pot. Okay. All right, there we go. And all I'm doing is just tamping down. I'm not like jamming the soil in there. The soil is just enough to provide structure so the plant can sit up. That's all you want. And this one, I don't know, let's see how it looks with a little rock on the top of it. I think that might dress it up. This particular plant is called a sensitive plant, Mimosa Pudica. Medium light, moderately moist soil. So the rock will actually help the pot to retain moisture in the soil. Our next plant is going to be my beautiful Anthurium. Isn't that gorgeous? I absolutely love this. It's funny, I hadn't really noticed them before, and then it turned up on Planterina, and I was like, ooh, I like that. And she talked about it and said it needs like pretty bright light to keep the colorful blossoms, and they come in red. I saw them in pink. I was very tempted. I think a purple shade, but I went with the red because it was so striking. Okay, so let's look at the plant. I want to show you something that is pretty common when you bring plants home. Let me find a sample on here. I did a lot of cleanup on here. I tried to leave. Okay, here's one I left. All right. Remember I told you earlier we were going to use this microfiber cloth. All right. Watch this. Here's what I want you to see. I want you to see how that's got like hard water stains on it? Well, so did this, but look at it now. Ooh, look at that. Okay, so how do we get this over to here? Take our trusty microfiber cloth, and you want to be super gentle. In fact, I might take the gloves off to do this so I can really tell, but what we're going to do is we're just going to very lightly clean the leaves. That's it. And I mean, gentle. You want to be really, really easy and gentle about this because you don't want to tear up the leaves. If it's a little stubborn, you can wet the microfiber, but look at that. And it totally cleans up all of those hard water stains. Just want to be super careful because these are growing on a curve and you don't want to tear your leaves. Once you've torn a leaf, I mean, that's it. It doesn't recover. You just have to wait for new leaves to grow. But yeah, gosh, this whole microfiber cloth thing has been life-changing. I use them for everything. Look at the blossoms. See how different they are? I did the microfiber on this one. So let's do that one now. Super, super gentle. There we go. And I mean that just really, look how it shined it up. So yeah, microfiber is the way to go. And this is the pot that I'm going to use. So this pot had like an inner pot. I'm not really sure. I guess if you wanted to leave your plant in a plastic pot, but I don't know why you would do that because there's no drainage. So we're just going to take that over there. This does have a little thing in the bottom. So we're going to pop that out. And that gives us our drainage hole, which is not a great drainage hole, but we'll live with it. Something I do that is a little bit different than what you've probably seen other people do is that I don't put any rocks in the bottom, not at all. I used to. I have old videos where I'm doing that. I don't do that anymore. I went through Master Gardener training, and we had a module on houseplants and really setting up any potted plants. And the guidelines now are that you don't put anything in the bottom of the pot. And people are worried about soil coming out. There's no soil coming out. It doesn't come out. It's fine. I mean, you just feel like, oh my God, dirt's gonna run out everywhere. No, it doesn't. So anyway, I do try to utilize what they taught us through the courses. It was intense, I'm going to tell you. Every city has Master Gardener programs. It's a volunteer network, and if you really love plants, and most importantly, if you want to work with the public, because really what it's about is getting out and educating the public on plant care. That's what we're trained to do, which is partially why I do this on my YouTube channel. Anyway, but if you're into that kind of thing, and a lot of people are, and it's a great way to learn, look up the Master Gardener program in your city, which you can do by visiting your local extension office. Just, you know, look them up online, and it'll have all the information you need. Okay, so we're going to take this Anthurium and put it in here. This is a 4-inch pot, so I'm just going to squeeze, just loosen it up. It's got a couple of little weeds coming in. Let's pull those out. The weeds right now, wicked. All right, and then I'm just going to tip it on its side, and I'll do it over this soil so I don't get soil everywhere. Oh, this is interesting. So, look what's happening. It's super wet. It's really a little too wet. So that pot has not been draining, but look at how I've got root structure like growing around in a circle. We don't want that. So hold on, I'll be right back. We have to take some evasive maneuvers with this one. Hang on. if you pull a plant out of a pot and you notice that the roots are kind of growing around in a circle like that, you want to break that up, because what will happen is that root will continue to grow in a circle, and eventually it will literally strangle the plant. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this root, and we're going to make sure that our roots are distributed and growing down, because that's really what we want. So let's clear away a little bit of the soil and see what's going on in here. Okay, mostly she looks pretty good. We're gonna wreck this poor thing getting it in there, but that's okay. It'll be fine. All right, now I'm gonna use my little clippers. I'm gonna show you something. When you clip plant matter, removing leaves, trimming roots, whatever it is, you really want to make sure that your blades are clean before you clip. And like if you're pruning trees and stuff like that, every time you make a cut, you're supposed to spray with Clorox, or like a disinfecting spray. We just use Clorox. This is not sponsored, but these wipes are good. So what I've done is I've wiped that off. I'm gonna dry it on this towel. Okay, so that's disinfected. So now I won't run the risk of transmitting something from, like the roses. I've been cutting a lot of spider mite damaged leaves. It's been really hot and dry here, so that is a big issue for us right now. But okay, let's stick to the topic. So I'm just gonna clip that root. That's it. And just trying to angle it downwards. And that might just come off. That's fine. All right, the plant will recover. Do not flip out if you're trimming your plant a little bit. And then decide if you think that's too low, if it needs to come up. I think it needs to come up a little bit. So I'm going to grasp it here at the bottom. And see, this is why I like to use that serving spoon, because then it's got really nice roots. I'm gonna go ahead and trim that though, because that could very easily start to grow in a circle. So let's just take it off. There we go. Now that's sitting up a little bit higher. Now, I would not water this for a couple of days, because we clipped those roots, and what we want to do is we want to make sure that the roots have a chance to recover. We don't want to take a risk on having any kind of root rot. So we're just going to let this beautifully new potted plant kind of just hang out and get used to its new home. And we'll water it maybe, let's see, today is a Thursday, maybe we'll water it Saturday or Sunday. We'll just see how it looks. It's very hot and dry here right now, so we'll just keep an eye on it. It is in the shade, I will tell you that. It's outside, but it's shaded. We're sitting now underneath my patio umbrella, so she's shaded. Okay, so there she is. And I'll clean the pot up. What I'll do is I'll get like a damp paper towel and wipe all the pots down when we're finished, so that they'll be cleaned and pretty. And oh gosh, isn't that beautiful? Oh, I love it so much. Okay, next. So this, the soil and the roots that came from that plant, I'm just going to go ahead and put it back in this nursery pot, and probably just go ahead and throw it out, just to be safe. I don't want to commingle that soil with this soil, you know, in a big way. It's okay if a little bit drops in, but I'm gonna just be like super safe and go ahead and dispose of that. Now it's time for the big one, which it's really not a huge plant, but it's significantly bigger than the other ones, and it will certainly get bigger over time. Apparently these get huge, and I'm going to have to find like a support for it so it can climb, because it will put out air roots and climb. So this will be interesting to see what it does. To be honest with you, I have only seen this plant in pictures. I've never seen one in person. I don't know anybody that has one. So this will be an adventure. But it is a gorgeous plant, and I had the same issues on this one in terms of the hard water spots on the leaves. So I'll show you how I cleaned that up. We'll do some of that on camera. And I'm going to put it into this pot. And these are not typically my ideal pots because I like the water to run right out. These, you can like dump the water. It's not an ideal situation. But in this case, I loved the pot so much that I went ahead and got it. And I know that because this is a fast growing plant, by the end of the summer, I'm going to have to pot it up again anyway, and I'll do something more appropriate for bringing it back inside in the winter. But for now, I couldn't resist this. I just couldn't. So, all right, that's the pot we're using. Let me show you. Let's look at a close-up of some of the spotting. This leaf really has spots on it. And if you have a larger leaf and it has more heavy-duty spotting on it, what I found to be helpful was to take your microfiber cloth and just dip it in a little water, get it a little bit wet, and then very carefully cradle that leaf. You want to be so careful with this. And take off the worst of it, and then go to a dry spot on your microfiber. You can see that. Okay, and then I'm just like doing this between, and what that does is that will polish all of the old gunk off, because you got to be super careful. This is a very light touch. I would say this is almost like surgical precision, because you don't want to tear or damage your leaves in any way, because they're, you know, the whole thing about plants are their beautiful leaves, so we want to take care of them. And there she is. Ooh, polished up. Isn't that gorgeous? And so yeah, this plant needed quite, every leaf on this plant really needed to be cleaned like that. You know, and that's no big deal. You know, it comes from a nursery. They've got to just do what they can. I mean, they can't afford to pay a person like myself to come around and, you know, hand clean all the leaves. You know, that's something you've got to do when you bring it home. This is kind of sad. This leaf is torn, but I'm still going to take care of it. All right, so this one's been in the pot for a while. See how the roots are growing in a circle? So we're gonna cut those. Here. And that might actually be too tall. Honestly, this pot is probably too darn small for this plant, but if I can't make it work, I'll have to put it in a different pot. But I really wanted it to be in here. So I'm trying to make it work. All right, let's see here. All right, so see how the roots are like in a circle? This is like really hard for me to show you. They're just circling around. I'm just gonna come in and cut them. Just break them up. You are not gonna hurt anything doing this. You have to like get in there and take care of your plants. Ooh, I see a bug in there. Just break up that stuff on the bottom. My patio is going to be a disaster after this, but that's all right. All right, we're just going to break it up a little bit. I definitely don't want to save that soil because there was a bug crawling around. So, all right, let's put this in. So what I'm doing is I'm just pressing in to like arrange the plant so that it looks like it's sturdy. I want to make sure it's got a good strong base to grow. It looks pretty good. This one, it looks like there's like maybe several smaller plants in here. Again, this is like a new to me plant, so maybe that one should maybe I should split it up a little bit. I don't know. We're gonna leave it. It looks so good with everything together. All right. I think that's what we're gonna go with right there. And I'm definitely gonna put rocks. I'm going to use the pea gravel out of my garden. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this up, I'm gonna clean up all this mess. I'm going to get the damp paper towels and clean the pots off so you can see them, and I'll come back and I'll show you the finished product. I'm psyched. I need to clean the leaves too. All right, so don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. As promised, here are the finished plants, and don't they look beautiful? Oh my goodness. I just cleaned up the leaves and cleaned off the pots, got all the excess dusty soil and everything off of them, and I think that makes a huge difference. So taking a little extra time and doing these few extra steps when you repot your plants, it makes such a difference. Oh my gosh, so let's look at them a little more closely. I hope that gives you some tips and tricks that maybe you hadn't seen before on just making the most out of your potted plants and how to really get them looking their absolute best when you put them in those pots. I think taking a little extra time with things and cleaning all of the leaves and cleaning the pots and doing all of that after you've put the soil in and adding a nice top dressing, it just adds so much to the way the plants look when they're done and in their new homes. And for me, that is as important as the plant care. So here we go. I will keep you posted on how these are doing over the summer. I'm going to be doing a setup on the front porch with a new plant holder that I've gotten, and all of these will be receiving bright but indirect light and plenty of heat for the sunshine, plenty of heat for the summer, because they all need high heat and humidity, and we're getting it here. That's for sure. Okay, that's today's video. If you have any questions, drop them below, and let me know which one was your favorite. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next video.